and live in color. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see if we can play this music.
I am that spelled out for the fate. And you are now listening to Sipping on Ink, the Color Chronicles, hosted by Cat, spelled out to be get an T, and that ain't no ink and chamber, Dunny, it's just me.
Whoa, I haven't heard that in so many years. And I had to play it again just to start us out for this new variation. And we cut the music because, we don't know how to fade to black and all that other stuff. Welcome, everyone, to Sipping on Ink. I am Cat Williams. And as always, here on Sipping on Ink, we strive to bring you the best the LGBTQ and the I community has to offer. And tonight's guest is the one and only, the esteemed panty dropper author, Fiona Zedde. Welcome, Fiona. Is that right?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm having hot and cold flashes, so you'll see me do a lot of this and that, but I'm great. How are you?
I am love, as always, here on Sipping on Ink. And we're back. I mean, you're like one of my first guests. And I figured, why not bring you
Thanks
back?
for having me, by the way.
Exactly. You're one of my first guests when I started Sipping on Ink many moons ago. And if there's a delay, everybody, we're sorry. But we're trying something new and trying to link stuff up. So this is a test run, and we'll get it better. But one day.
Testing.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, thank you again, Fiona, for coming out with me today. It is nighttime here in Hanoi. And what time is it where you are at in this world?
It's 4 in the afternoon here, 4:02, thereabouts.
Cool.
And rainy, a little cold.
And where is 4:02 in the afternoon? Where are you at, though?
Oh, I'm in Spain. I'm in Madrid right now. The epicenter of the coronavirus, apparently.
Yes, in Europe right now. And we're going to get into the corona, of course. We got to. Because, reason why we're doing Sipping on Ink live Facebook edition is because of the corona and everybody's at home to a certain extent. And so I figured, to keep me attached to the world a little bit, I would do Sipping on Ink. And anyway, you know how we do, Fiona. Back in the day with Sipping on Ink, when we first started out, we always start out with the easiest question of the night. And that is, who is Fiona Zedde?
I love how you assume that's an easy question.
Easiest question.
Yeah, it's depending on what day, week, month, year, that's in flux. I guess now I can say that I'm a writer. What else? A writer with writer's block or something. Jamaican, American, looking to get my Spanish residency at some point once all this is sorted out and we're all alive, assuming. Yeah. And yeah, general optimist, seize the day kind of person. I would say that I'm a traveler, but right now I'm not going anywhere.
Nobody.
That's it. Hopefully, no one's going anywhere.
Nah, we should.
Hope y'all staying at home, everybody out there.
Nobody should be going anywhere anytime soon. And that's a good thing right now because we're trying to get better, We're trying to limit the spread of this potentially fatal virus that is definitely taking some lives. And if not taking lives, it's definitely damaging some lives. So with that being said, and knowing who you are and that you are in Spain, how is it in Spain for you? I mean, as a Black woman, Jamaican American who is not Spanish, how is it in Spain for you?
It's been interesting. I think that, I think initially whenever I travel somewhere, I'm pretty much like, oh, this is cool. I eat their bread, I eat the food, I just experience everything and just try not to be judgmental. Mm-hmm. And, having been here a few months and with the intention of moving here permanently or semi-permanently or whatever, I'm just like, people here are awfully rude. They're rude as fuck. And one thing I noticed as this virus was happening is like people just gotta cough in your face, like cough in the open air. There's no elbow, there's no hand, there's no nothing. So I wasn't surprised by like how with the very social life people have here, that this virus will just like spread. Because I'm like, you just cough in your hand and put your hand on the table for someone else to deal with, and then they didn't clean the table that well anyway. So yeah.
But you like Spain, right?
I know. But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the language. I'm enjoying how different it is here. I mean, I love the olives, and there's like so much olive oil, and the food is terrible, but the olives are amazing. And I think for the most part, people are cool, like not like super friendly. But I think once you get to know folks beyond like the streets, because people will ignore you in the streets or look in your face, like they pass you, look you dead in the eye, in the nostril, everywhere, but not say a single word, which is something I'm getting used to coming from Atlanta, where everyone's just like, hi. Even if they hate you, they're like, hey, how you doing, girl, or whatever. So getting used to that. And yeah, it's cool. I just like to experience different things. And for now, it's still different enough that that's enjoyable. Cool. And also learning the language is really fun. I love learning new things. So.
And how are you learning the language? What are you using apps? Are you going to classes? How are you learning?
I actually am taking this, well, I was before all this happened. I was taking a free course that they offered through the what do you call it? I guess the city government or whatever, where it's their immigrant integration arm, where they offer you like, jobs if you're looking for work, and then those who are non-Spanish speaking, you can come in and depending on your level, just take different classes during the week. And it was great for me. I loved it. I also really enjoy free things, so for me that was awesome. Yes, free, yes. And so walking distance, so I got my exercise too.
So they give you a free class to learn the language as you become a citizen.
Well, no, I mean, as long as you're here, living here, you can just come to class. You get your assessment, and then they figure out what level you are, and then you come to the class. I think mine was or is 3 days a week, and then they have outings. They take you to like the museum, the market, to interact with like the outside world to find and hear Spanish naturally spoken and all this other stuff. So I really enjoyed it. I also use Duolingo. They have a great podcast you can listen to really slowly or at a regular speed.
Yeah, I use Duolingo because I'm trying to learn Spanish too. But I was messing it up. I ain't gonna even lie. I was just like, I thought I was swinging, and then I got to like level 4. And they just told me I ain't know nothing. I can read. I actually feel like I can read it better than I can speak it. Like if I was at a restaurant or in a store, I knew I look and I can see what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think I'm gonna be very good at it. But one day I'm gonna need it because I have future plans that involve Spanish.
Yes, you have future plans.
I do.
But yeah, it does crack me up when you try to speak Spanish. It does make me laugh.
That's not nice, Fiona. Amber does. Talk about Amber. She can speak it a little bit anyway. Anyway, let's talk about books. We've talked about Spain. We've talked about the coronavirus. We've talked about who you are. Let's talk about books. It's been years since the last time you were sipping on ink. So what have you been doing? What did you release last year? What's coming our way in 2020?
Oh my God, book questions. So last year, coincidentally enough, I have things right here. Last year I came out with this lovely book.
Lover's Mercy.
Yes, Lover's Mercy. I'm like, what is it called again? Lover's Mercy, which is a sequel to The Power of Mercy that came out in 2018. And then this is actually the graphic novel version of
Awesome.
The Power of Mercy that came out. And then, so I'm working on something else that I hope will come out next year. And I'm working on a novel I should have actually released last year called, is it called Femme Like Her?
Is that a continuation of that short story that I really, really liked, or?
Yeah. It's a continuation of that. So it's called Femme Like Her, and I should have put it out last year, but then I was having this period of like, what's my writing doing? What am I doing with my life? What's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
And so that made it harder to write and to produce and to stick to my own schedule. So I have 2 books that I'm working on now coming out with publishers. So that's for next year, but I want to self-publish Femme Like Her before the end of this year.
Okay.
So that's it, I think. But yeah, I'm just having a hard time focusing and sticking to my own deadlines right now. It's been a few months with that issue. So this virus concern and the stress are not making it any easier, of course.
So speaking of that, though, I mean, you say your writing is affected. You're not being as productive. Do you have a schedule every day that you try to adhere to?
I try. I get up and I have breakfast and I try to like start working at like, I don't know, 10:30. But then I pick up my phone and then I'm like, oh, what's happening with the virus, or what's happening with the US, or what's happening with, the Twitters, whatever. And so I get distracted, and before I know it, I've been sitting at my writing area for 5 hours, but I've written like 500 words or 0.
Right.
So right now I'm just easily distractible, and I need to put my phone aside when I sit down to work. And that's my big challenge. But yeah, I have a schedule, but I just don't do like work as I should be.
So I've decided that when I work, I have to put my phone in the other room. And then if it's not beside me, I tend to forget it a little bit more. And it helps if I let it die. And I know it has a charge. And I really don't like using it on 50% or less. So I let it die out, and then I'll put it on the plug. And then I'm like, yeah, so now I'm going to be here at least an hour before it's fully charged, and I can do some work. Not to say that I do anything.
That's a really interesting technique. I like it.
Put the phone in the other room. That's the only way you're not going to touch it. And I have
because right now my phone is like, I just touched my phone like a second ago. Like, oh,
I'm saying it's the only way. If it's anywhere that I can visually see it, I'm gonna reach for it. It's like crack, man. It's a phone crack. So, got to tame that addiction and put it in the other room. Go through withdrawals for about 15 minutes, and then you're on the track. But I think even with the computer, though, I'm just as bad there.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm looking for on my phone is WhatsApp conversations to see if someone like you or one of my friends sends me a message or something like that. And we, when you get up in the morning, we talk. Before I go to bed, we talk. How's your day? What's the count? And shit like that. You know what I'm saying? What you cook?
Bad news. That pandemic news.
Right. Exactly. I actually had to stop myself from actually looking at the number count. Like I gave myself a 48-hour window where I wouldn't look at it every day. And I lasted about 24 hours, which I think was good. Considering I've been looking at it like every couple of hours.
Scared when you open it like a day later and was just like, God damn, that's like 20,000 more people.
No, I was really more surprised by the number of deaths that have jumped up more than the contaminated people. When I say contaminated, like, contamination, no. But, realistically, hey, and we're in Hanoi. And so we're going into a gradual full-on quarantine. So, of course I'm interested in that. The only good thing about being in Hanoi and not being in America is that I don't understand the news. And so unless I translate an article, I really don't know what's going on. Right. So, it helps. It really does help. So now I can just talk about everything going on in America. So back to your graphic novel, though.
Oh.
Why that format? Yes, why that format?
Well, it's interesting because the book, when it first came out, and the sequel too, they both have this graphic cover. And so I kept on getting questions like, oh, is this a graphic novel? Or is it it seemed to people who read it initially or read about it coming out that it was already a graphic novel, and they were kind of like, oh, so it's not a graphic novel when they got their hands on it.
Mhm.
And so then it led to this conversation with my publisher about making it into a graphic novel and to see how it would do in the marketplace, and like if people would be interested in reading it, and also to even just how to condense what's happening in that bigger book, well, relatively big, into a graphic novel. And so it's much thinner
Mhm.
than the original, the source material. But yeah, it just seemed a natural progression. And I think also too, like now is a lot of people who maybe don't like reading as much, they like the graphic novel format. Like they can still get the story and they can have something visual to go along with the plot and everything that's happening. So it just seemed like a natural progression, and some people love it. And some people are like, all right, I'll read that too. Why not?
Cool.
See.
Cool.
Yeah. And I just love seeing my characters too in like as themselves on paper, someone else's idea of how they look. I mean, it wasn't quite like how they turned out, wasn't quite how I was picturing it in my head, but
Right.
it's still great to see all the different things. Like I love this scene. Wait, hold on. I love this scene.
Okay. And I see. Oh, are they getting ready to do?
No, they're fighting.
Oh. Oh, did you notice my head was doing cook? Okay. 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 It's quarantine. It's quarantine.
Yes. So, and even there's like a random sex scene in there. I'm like, whoa, that's wild. Like, whoa. I was surprised at it because these things in my head, when I see them on paper, it's like, that's kind of graphic.
Right. I get it.
I mean, obviously graphic novel, graphic, but I'm like, whoa, I'm sort of both turned on and uncomfortable at the same time.
My mother could read this.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, okay. So we did get the full on nudity.
Right.
Yeah, I got you. Full on sex scenes. Nothing wrong with that. We're all grown women here. We're all grown women here.
Right. So that's sort of like I had my own like curl clutching moment. I'm like, oh my goodness. But
now,
yeah,
you mentioned that you're going to be publishing new books coming out next year with a major publisher, correct?
But yeah, it's a small publisher out of Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but with one of them is 9-star. Should I say that out loud? I don't know. Anyway, I won't bother because that's a plan. There's going to be a thing with a smaller publisher in the US, and then this other novel with a lesbian publisher out of Germany.
Right. And was Power of Mercy and A Lover's Mercy, were they through the company in Germany as well?
Yes, they were.
So I wonder why Germany versus the US? Why were they interested in possibly going that route with you?
Well, it was like, how did we even connect with each other? I can't even remember. But I remember just seeing like this, I think it might have been a call for submission for like superhero stories that were with people of color as a protagonist. I was like, this sounds cool. So I sent them a proposal, and then they were like, yeah, sure, why not? And then later on, they were interested in doing the sequel. So it sort of just was happenstance more than anything, more than a planned decision to like, shift directions or anything like that. So
you actually did something.
Yeah.
See? So for those who don't know, Fiona and I speak probably every day, and she's always talking about how she's just laying around. But she's actually doing
and baking
now with the virus and things like that. But she's actually producing quite a lot. So, and that's a beautiful thing. You're actually opening new worlds for other lesbian authors out there, gay authors, LGBTQI. So it's a beautiful thing. I have to throw out all those letters, LGBTQ.
You should.
Right. We're all over it. We're everywhere now. And Tawana asks, is it German publisher doing it in the English language, correct?
Yes. The Power of Mercy, the first one, it's in German and English both. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're making it first available in English. English.
Cool. And then we had one person in the chat, Coco, I believe she says, she asked a few minutes ago, what kind of advice do you give for procrastinators? Even though you are the queen of procrastination, so you say.
Hell yeah. I'm in my head is like that Rihanna gif with like the crown on her head. That's me. I think part of what it is, like you mentioned, like put your phone away. Because for me, the biggest procrastinating tools are Netflix and my phone and the internet. And so in terms of like, if you're sitting down to work and then things are popping up to distract you, like get rid of, either do like one of those social app screen time limiting things, which I just put on my phone because my writing partner said do it. And then limit your time as well, like with the apps or the programs on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think also too, just if that's a hard thing for you, get a notebook and then get rid of all your technology and just do your work in a notebook and then later on transcribe. Because like at a certain point for me, like it does become that intense where I can't stay away from the buttons and like even when I'm writing and I look at the thesaurus or whatever to do research, suddenly I'm somewhere else instead of like between my document and the dictionary. So I would recommend that for sure. And also to have an accountability partner, even if it is like a stranger or someone who has no interest in your writing. You can tell that person, okay, I need to have 10,000 words of this book done by, I don't know, April 15th. And then ask them to hold you accountable. So when April 15th rolls around, even if you haven't done it, they're like, where are these words? Right. And so you have an awareness that you fucked up if you didn't have it done, or you'll have the words and you're ready for the next challenge.
Gotcha. All good tips. All good tips. I don't have any of those except for my wife, who berates me every day about not writing. So you can have. But then
you don't actually write anyway. You just like,
I do. In my head, you know.
Right, and that's really different from writing it on a paper.
We tried. She's sitting here now. I'm sure she's throwing rocks at my back, but that's okay. Okay. So you have the wife. I'm sorry?
She's a good wife. You're lucky.
Oh, of course. Girl, you know that. You know that. So what are you reading right now?
What the fuck am I reading? Oh, yeah. I'm reading this lesbian novel. It's one of those like pretend marriages things. What's it called?
Pretend marriages? What does that mean?
It's like what do you call? What is this trope? What's this? It's called Tangled Vows. One of those marriage of convenience fake relationship things.
Will they fall in love?
Yeah. So this thing so far, this super rich woman who is also a dominatrix type meets a woman in Vegas, and then she needs a wife for inheritance purposes to get her hands on her money. And so she arranges to get married to this woman who's an escort in Vegas. Okay. And be married for a year. And then within that year, the escort gets, everything she wants: clothes, food, cars, a fat pad, everything. And then the woman, the mistress, the dominatrix gets to inherit her money. And so then in the course of all that, they fall in love.
So Pretty Woman with the twist?
I guess. I mean, it's a trope. It's one of those things that's like, it's really popular now to have that fake relationship thing going on, quick marriage, blah, blah. Really? And I have never seen Pretty Woman, so I only sort of like know the vague outline of the story.
Yeah, I'm barely seeing it. So I'm just saying Pretty Woman because that escort, rich guy, that's what popped in my head. I've seen it maybe once. Right. So I could be totally wrong, and I'm willing to accept that.
I mean, it sounds reasonable. But yeah, I don't think, because she's an escort, but they're not like going to be fucking. I don't think. I haven't gotten to it yet if that's what's happening, but that's what I'm reading. Pretend relationship, blah, blah. And there should be some BDSM action later on once they stop fighting their attraction. And so I'm enjoying the story.
So why that book? I mean, is that a particular genre that you like, lesbian romance that you like to read in your, downtime?
Yeah, I love romance. I love sexy romances. And so it was also, where did it come up? I can't remember where I saw it, but I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll try this. I'm also trying to, in my hopefully near future, try to do some like smaller like novels, novellas, that are sort of more light and like popcorn love stories. So it's part of my research too into that branching out that I'll be doing later, hopefully.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm reading that, and I have plans to read Hood Feminism soon. So
Interesting.
yeah.
I surprisingly, I'm on Amazon almost every day looking for free books. I'm not gonna lie, free books.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it really isn't. But I also pay for books. But I've noticed there is a genre that it just popped up to me where there's like a girl and she has like 4 or 5 lovers and they're all cool with it because she's like the queen bee. It's just really interesting.
Yeah, reverse harem. Usually it's like hetero, so it's like reverse
Yeah,
harem.
very
Where
hetero.
it's like 5 guys.
Mm-hmm. And I just
I'm
find
like,
it
all those dicks go.
What'd you say?
I said, where do all those dicks go?
And they're so comfortable. They're so comfortable with it. And I'm like, where? Where do they? Because they don't exist in anywhere in polite society today. But anyway, it's a very interesting genre. And so,
Yeah, I mean, it has grown so much in the last like couple of years or whatever. I was doing some what do you call it? Freelance ghostwriting the other day, and I wrote one of those. And even when I was running it, I was like, how the fuck do you make this work?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting though, and they're all cool with it. It's very very hetero and very white.
Right.
Very white
right.
hetero.
Right. And I feel like whenever I see like commentary in real life about like bisexual men, because like I'm assuming with these like harem things, the men are fucking each other as well. No or yes?
They're not.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
This is my first thought too, because I was reading it for that. I was waiting for that scene. It never popped up, and I just got tired of, vagina on dick scenes. And I was like, okay, once you read it with the first 3 dudes, the other 2, does it really, really, really matter? So yeah, but anyway, interesting genre for those who are interested in it. So what genres do you recommend? What genres do you recommend outside of romance for anybody who's looking for a good read right now?
I can only tell you what I am enjoying. Like I really am enjoying the like sci-fi. I love sci-fi and fantasy. N.K. Jemisin is I love her work so much. I think she has a new book out. No, she has a new book out. It came out a couple of days ago or in the last week. So she's pretty amazing. Let's see. I was reading, what is this story? It's like it might not be of interest to anyone. It's like detective story set in ancient Rome, but in like Roman times, but they're not in Rome. They're in ancient like Britannia, like England. And it's like a doctor, a medicus, and that whole thing. Some of it's kind of disturbing, but I was listening to it on audio and I really like the audio version. And the first book I think is called Medicus by Ruth Ware. I really enjoy that. And like everything I read was audiobook, and the narrator is really, really good. And I really enjoy that.
Okay, cool. Is it steampunkish?
What else?
Is it steampunkish?
No. It is just like set very firmly in that time period where, horses and like very, how do you say, like basic medical tools and all that, like herbs and poppies and like, all these weird things you can do, like smearing mud on wounds and stuff like that. So it's all very like primitive, but they solve murders, the doctor. And it's a fascinating looking at that type of the world, that place and that time.
Okay.
So I enjoyed that. The narrator's voice is also really entertaining. And what else? A lot of audiobooks. A lot of audiobooks. Of course, I have my guilty pleasure of romance, my like queer romances, gay, like man on man romance, lesbian romance.
Yes, always a favorite.
Yes, it's yummy. What else? What I read recently that was really, really interesting? I think that, like, I'm really into that sci-fi and my romances. That's it.
Well, thank you so much, Fiona, for coming on Sipping on Ink Live for the first show in 5 years, I believe it is. Can you please put up a visual of the books that we should be purchasing, ma'am?
Oh, of course.
To tell
Of course.
everybody, Power of Mercy.
I've received the original book and the graphic novel with apparently like hot sex going on. One of my favorites, To Italy with Love, which is kind of controversial right now, I think, with the Italy thing happening. And then the sequel, A Lover's Mercy, which I love in my own way. So yeah, and I have a ton of books. They're out there.
Exactly. And where can we talk to you on a weekly, monthly basis on your website? What's your links?
Oh my gosh, you just asked me questions that make so much sense. You can find me everywhere, like social media at Fiona Zedde, Twitter, Instagram, blah, blah, and then FionaZedde.com on just my website. And that's it. I'm super easy to find. You can just Google me and I have like, you know, I'm there. I'm not hidden at all, I don't think.
Oh, well, again, thank you, Fiona, for coming on today, tonight for me, morning for everyone in the U.S. and the East Coast.
Afternoon for me.
Yeah, afternoon for you. Tomorrow, we will be back at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with our featured guest, Girl Complex. We're going to talk about sex and some other things.
I'll be there for that.
Yeah, you know, some kink, some leather, and from a Black perspective, I do believe. So this is Kat Williams, and my guest today has been Fiona Zedde, and this has been Sipping on Ink Live, the Facebook edition. Thank you all for tuning in, and again, we will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Peace and love, everyone. Peace and love.
Bye. Thanks, Kat.
Thank you.